Hey, we're live. All right, here we go. Welcome to 52 Haircuts a Year, a hashtag. What else is it? I gotta come up with a flashy little intro. Let's see. Welcome to 52 Haircuts a Year. Journey. A journey? A challenge? Not really a challenge, a commitment. There you go. A commitment of me cutting my haircut 52 times in 1 year. All right, let's try again. All right, welcome everybody to another installment, episode 4 of 52 Haircuts a Year, where I, Albert Lopez, commits to cutting his hair 52 times in 1 year, which makes it 1 haircut a day. This is probably the best way to show and practice consistency, and the commitment is of vlogging it every week, going live on YouTube every week, and it'll make me, hey, what's going on here? It's giving me a notification. It'll allow me to commit and actually cut my hair every week, which I enjoy doing. I gotta work on that intro. I'll try it again next week. But yeah, this is a haircut. I mean, this is the first time you watching. This is a live of, is it a vlog? I guess you could call it a vlog. This is a vlog, a live vlog. This is a series. There you go. This is a series where I committed to cutting my hair once a week, all year long, which 52 weeks in a year makes it 52 haircuts in a year. I did do this in 2016, but I didn't record it. I didn't vlog it. I did it. I did write it on my my paper calendar, which I kept in 2016, along with a couple of other goals that I committed to. And yeah, this is cool. And it was a good result. But what I found out is that because I didn't have the calendar, the paper calendar in 2017, I didn't cut my hair 52 times that year. And there was many times throughout that year where I'd look in the mirror when getting ready in the morning, brushing my teeth and going, dang, I need a haircut. And no matter how sharp you dress that day, how clean your gear looks, how fly you look, if your hair isn't right, it's not 100%. So I decided that this year I would turn on my calendar again. So I am using a calendar once again. And also I figured it'd be really cool with the feature that YouTube offers now, which is live, and come on here and vlog it. And that way, many years from now, I could come back and look at it and have some fun. So anybody who ever cares to come on here and watch it, I'll be having different conversations every week when I come on here. Different topics. Could be stuff that happened during the week. Could be maybe something that happened in the news. Maybe something that happened around town. Something interesting. Maybe sometimes I'll just kind of go freestyle. If and whenever anybody comes on here and they make a suggestion of what we could talk about, maybe you have a question about cutting your own hair, I'd be more than happy to answer that question. And we'll go from there. We'll kind of build it along the way. In my very first installment of 52 Haircuts, I kind of walk you through how I cut my hair and why I cut my hair and all that good stuff. I won't do it every week. But if you have a question on what it is that I'm doing or why is it that I'm doing it or all that good stuff, I'll be more than happy to answer it on here. Just I do have the chat open. I'll double check. So if anybody ever comes on here and you want to bust something on the chat, go for it. I'll see how fast I can capture it on my phone. Let me see. It always does this. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I hope it doesn't glitch. Microphone, no. That's chats. What's this? I'm still figuring this out. I guess I'm gonna figure out what that is, but I'm going. Oh, maybe I can bring in. Oh, cool. Let me double check that I'm gonna talk about. I'll announce it on my Instagram of what I will be talking about. If you're curious, my Instagram is at Mr. Albert Lopez. Go follow me there. You'll see what else I'm involved with, and you'll get updates on 52 Haircuts. Alright, so let me do this part, which is the most critical part. The Roughneck. Some people have real bad roughneck. I'm lucky to not have that bad. Well, I guess because I get 52 haircuts a year, I don't let it get bad. But this is probably the most satisfying part of cutting my hair, getting rid of this part. Because it's so... This is the unreachable itch. If it wasn't for a mirror and painter's tape, I would not be able to do this part. So being able to cut this part of my hair, like I said, it's just like reaching that itch that you normally can't reach. In the past, before I started recording this, which was before 4 weeks ago, I usually take off my shirt when I cut my hair. I don't, just so I don't put a hairy shirt in the laundry. My wife has to deal with that. But since I started doing these lives, I didn't want to really come on here without my shirt. Which is why I leave my shirt on when I cut my hair. But if you're going to try this, I would suggest, yeah, just take off your shirt. It's just easier. From here, you dust off, you jump in the shower, and you're good to go. My connection's acting a little funny. It keeps on giving me a deal, so I don't know how fuzzy this is going to come out. I got to work on that, maybe get a better... interesting. Well, maybe one of those days. Well, we'll just keep on going. Alright, so... Today's topic, today what we're going to talk about, and today what I'm going to share with you guys, is that this week, I started my podcast. I did my intro on Friday for my podcast. I'm going to be busting it out on YouTube. Just because I'm a little familiar. I'm familiar with YouTube and how it works, and its its ins and outs, and it was just easier for me. I just like to start things. Once I commit to starting something, I've learned to just kind of go all in and start, and then along the way you figure it out. Nothing like making mistakes and stuff not working right, but if you wait till everything's perfect, it's just, you'll never get it done. And actually, this whole podcast thing was something that I wanted to do for a very, very long time, but I never really knew what topic I was going to talk about, or if any, I kind of had that idea of who would want to listen. And believe it or not, doing this 52 haircuts a year, just on week 3, I decided and figured out that really it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if anybody listens. Just the fact that you're doing it is fun enough. I mean, anything you do in your, I thought, throughout my day, it's not like I'm doing it for anybody to see. It's not like I'm doing it for anybody to watch me. I don't, take out the trash and say, oh man, I hope somebody finds this interesting and somebody watches me. When I clean out my car, and I'm not thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, oh, I'm hoping somebody watches me and I do this right. I just do it, and it just happens, and then there you go. So that's kind of the concept I had behind, like, you know what, I just need to start this, and that's what, the 52 haircut thing kind of helped me to step over that, just start it, idea, and just start my podcast, and then just kind of go. I mean, just like with all my other experiments that I do and other startup things that I do, I was always good with just starting. Get the ball going, just start, and along the way you learn. I have a lot of fun with that. I'm really good with that, and I usually get, great results because I learn along the way. And the best way, I think, I mean, for me anyways, the way I love learning by making mistakes, because then you could turn around and teach. It's very, there's something very satisfying by learning something and then teaching it, but not, learning it with mistakes involved, because then you can warn people of, hey, don't make this mistake, be careful for this one, be careful for that one. So like I said, doing this 52 haircuts inspired me just to start it. I think I've been brewing that for a long time, wanting to do the podcast, just because it sounded like fun. I wanted to document a few things, just kind of fun stuff that would happen, like, oh, that would have been cool. Just like I want to start a weekly vlog, but the technical hang up that I have with the weekly vlog is that I want to do a little bit of editing to it, and I currently don't have a machine that could handle the HD edit. My daughter does a vlog, and she has a Mac, and she has she's able to handle the really HD footage. She has a Canon GLS something, I think, and she's able to do the HD video there, and edits it with no problem. Then she grabs her video from her phone if she doesn't have her camera that day, and it just looks cool, and she has cool effects, and it's just kind of slam dunks, doesn't take too long to render, and handles it. But I don't have that, so I can't do the vlog just yet. It's something I do want to get into, though. And the podcast was just like, I just wanted to start it, and I decided, hey, you know what? Because coming on here and doing 52 haircuts, it kind of inspired me to say, okay, let's go. And then the idea was, okay, well, I'll just talk about the kind of the basis. I did an intro on it already. If you go here on the YouTube, so if you go yesterday, so I guess the video before this one, it'll give you an explanation of what it is, but I'll do a quick little recap. Basically what I'm going to do is, I feel like I learned a lot during the week. So in a nutshell, I'm going to be talking about what I learned that week. The podcast is called Albert's Corner. And like I said, I'm just going to talk about interesting stuff. I'm hoping it's interesting. I mean, not all my weeks are filled with interesting stuff, but I'm always paying attention to learn. And I didn't realize that till just recently. Like, man, I've always had that kind of that open mind to learn practical things. I've always found it easy to kind of watch people do things and say, oh, okay, that's how you do it, or oh, that's kind of neat how you do that, So I'm always watching, and I learn stuff by watching other people. I have interesting son, I have an interesting daughter, and I learn a lot from them. I learn from my dog, believe it or not. I learn a lot from Valentina. I learn a lot from my wife. My wife's just filled with a lot of knowledge, and just, she's very, very wise, and she does a lot of great things. So along my week, just dealing with those four individuals, I learned quite a bit. And different situations that happen to me, again, mistakes that I make, and wow, I learned that. That was a cool lesson. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be talking about what stuff that I learned, in hopes that people that are like me, that are in their journey of life, and they're kind of maybe vibe out the same way I do, they think the same way I do, they're pretty, I consider myself an easygoing person, and, they could log on here and say, hey, this guy's talking my language, this guy's talking the same stuff that I'm into, I'm not, I kind of relate to what he got going on. That's who I'm catering this podcast to, somebody that wants to listen to somebody out there that talks about the stuff that they have, some similarities, and maybe they could chime in if they want and leave a comment, and I guess I'll find out if there's anybody out there like me that enjoys it, that they'll come in and leave a comment, and then maybe, start relationships with people, like, hey, start making friends that think the same, and that'd be kind of cool. So I figured, as long as I'm moving around, and as long as I'm alive, and as long as I'm doing stuff, I'll probably have material to talk about. I'll probably have something going on. So what I'm doing is just kind of, at the end of the day, just kind of jotting stuff down of what happened that day. And some days there's not so much stuff going on, not so much interesting. And you know, this is barely day 2 that I've been paying attention more and writing stuff down that happened. So I'm a little bit more aware. My awareness is a little higher than, I mean, I've been working on keeping a higher awareness last couple of years, but now even more, because now I'm paying attention to a line I use a lot, that I like using a lot. Matter of fact, I just used it earlier today with my son, is when something happens, good or bad, or good or not in your favor, shouldn't say bad, always try to pay attention. Always try to pay attention and ask yourself, what can I learn so I can teach it? And that's one of the things that I've been watching lately, even more. What can I learn from this situation for my own personal benefit, but at the same time, in hopes that I could teach somebody. And I share that with my kids, so, you know, learn something from it. So you may want to teach this to somebody if they ask. A cousin, your own children, somebody who's maybe younger than you or the same as you, they ever ask for your advice, you could go through the archives and say, yeah, I learned that before. That something similar to me happened, you know, a while back ago, and I learned this or I learned that. And you can give valid advice with equity, with the fact that something similar happened to you. So that's one thing. Like I said, that it's I'll be paying attention that much more, and I'll take notes, and then I'll bring it over to the podcast, and I'll talk about kind of how the week went and if I picked anything up. I also would love to interview people on there. Maybe along the way I'll meet some cool folks, and maybe, like I said, have the same outlook on life, vibe out the same way, and they have an interesting life. Maybe they do something like a hobby that they do that's really cool, or they do something for work that's really neat, and they want to come on here and, you know, ask them a few questions. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where that'll go. That's just kind of what I'm thinking that the snowball may turn into, or I'll do something with the snowball. But the idea was to start the podcast, which is starting the snowball, and then at that point just push it along, gain momentum, and then see where it goes. My intent is just to log down what I learned. That's the idea. Kind of like with this. What's the intent, or what's the purpose of 52? 52 times in a year, meaning cut my hair once a week. What will happen? Will I meet anybody? Will anybody have any comments? Will I teach anybody how to cut their hair? Who knows? Maybe somebody out there will say, like, hey, that's efficient. Or maybe somebody out there will say, you know, how do you do this part? Or how can I do this part? Or I cut my friend's hair. How did you do that? Or why is it that you use the little machine after you use the big machine? Who knows? But yeah, it's pretty exciting. I did my intro yesterday. Again, just to do it. If you'd like, go check it out. Leave a comment. Let me know how I can improve it. I didn't use a microphone. Pretty much all I did was the same exact way I'm doing this right here. 52 haircuts. The same way I'm doing Albert's Corner. And it sounded okay. I had my daughter come in, and on her, she opened up the live on her machine, and it said, I don't know if she used her phone or her computer. I'm assuming her phone. And she said it sounded good. But what I'm assuming is that it sounded good because I was in my shop and it was quiet and it was only me. So maybe if I decide to do this in a more public setting, like a park or something, or if it's windy outside and I go do it in my backyard, in my garden, maybe the wind will be a little too much, and that's where I may have to use a microphone. Or I don't know, if I do in the future interview somebody that's not here, a guest that's not like physically present, that we have to do it on the phone. That's what I'm thinking that other button here is on here for, that maybe I could let people in and join the live, and we could do the interview there. I don't know how that is. But yeah, like I said, today's topic here, like I said, just wanted to come share that I did start the intro. I did the intro to my podcast, and I'll be doing a weekly show here on YouTube. Maybe I'll go into iTunes later. If I do, I know that I could just rip the audio from my current podcast that I'll have already built on YouTube, and then just take the audio over to iTunes and upload it there, if I decide to do that. Again, depending on where the snowball goes. I just wanted to get it going. So far, I got 2 interesting things that happened, so that's at least 2 topics, and it's barely Saturday. So we'll see what other topics come along the way during the week. It'll be across the board. It'll be everything. It'll be about health. It'll be about, life. It'll be maybe about work. It'll be maybe about interesting people I meet or talk to throughout the day, if I see anybody. Events. I don't know. Maybe something cool I learned in a book. I love to read. I read every day. And I'll try to, anything that sticks out from the book. But I read a little bit. I read a little bit, but I read a little bit every single day, Monday through Sunday. And I usually try to stop at something that kind of catches my eye, and I'll mull that over all day long. So maybe that'll be also when there's not much to talk about. Or maybe it'll be a segment, something interesting I read this week. There you go, that could be another interesting segment. I'm thinking an hour is what they're gonna... See, the connection still says it's bad. I'm thinking an hour is gonna be what the show's gonna be. I mean, my intro was supposed to be just like a quick hello. And that ended up going like 26 minutes or something like that. So I'm thinking an hour is going to be easy to fill. I'm hoping too that it'll be neat enough to where I could go somewhere to do this podcast, which, shouldn't be a big deal, as long as there's an internet connection. Like I could go to, I live, I think, in one of the coolest states. Or I could, all kinds of neat places that we got around here, go to, maybe I won't go nowhere, man, I'll just do it here. What's the big deal? But I'm thinking, I don't know, on the just real nice days, just go to the park, go to my favorite park that I go to every day. Go to the beach, do it there. Go to, I don't know, where else is cool? I got a park across the street, I could go there just to kind of get the nice shade. Or maybe I won't go nowhere. Like I said, now that I think about it, I'll be distracted and I won't focus. Who knows? That's what I'm saying. It's neat where the snowball will go. Nobody really knows. But it'll be fun, I'm sure. Like I said, I did the first one and that was neat. One of the things I wanted to do once, and I guess I could talk about that in a future show, is one of my first career choices was to be a radio jock. I come from an announcing background. I come from a speaking background. I did that for many years. That was my profession. And so talking on the mic was something I did on a weekly basis, and I just loved it. And before that, I wanted to do radio, or so I thought I wanted to do radio. Well, no, I wanted to do radio. So there's the whole talking on the mic thing. I think is something I was programmed to do. I enjoy it. And not having changed careers, I didn't get to do much of that. So coming on here and doing videos and now starting this podcast really brings a lot of excitement. And I think about it during the week, like, hey, I get to go do this, or I get to go talk on the podcast, or no one thinking I only did it once, but I would imagine, like, okay, today if I was doing a podcast, oh, that'd get me excited. When I did it yesterday, my wife came in, she asked how to go, and I was like, wow, it was pretty exciting. I did something again, just like everything else that I do it because I enjoy it. Really, that's just kind of one of the foundations that I have. If you enjoy something, do it. And I just kind of added something else that I enjoy. Doing my daily posts. I got a series on Instagram called Shirt of the Day. And I share a shirt that I have listed for sale on my e-commerce store. And I try to choose a shirt that has some kind of a wow factor. And that's fun. I look forward to doing Shirt of the Day. It's really cool because I get to kind of go, I do it on the first take. I usually don't give myself a second take. Today I messed up and I let that go. That was fun. So that was exciting. And then, when I started 52 Haircuts a Year here on YouTube, I get excited though. The excitement builds. The excitement probably starts like on Wednesday. Like, oh, tomorrow's Friday Junior, which is Thursday. And then boom, it'll be Friday. I moved it over to Saturdays. Usually I thought it was going to be, see, there's that snowball. You don't know exactly where it's going to go. Flexibility is really cool. Instead of doing my haircut for 52 haircuts on Friday, I moved it over to Saturday because I want to do my podcast on Friday. So the excitement would start building before the podcast. The excitement would start building on Wednesday. Like, okay, day after tomorrow, I got my haircut. What's my topic? What am I going to talk about? Oh, I'll talk about this, or I'll talk about that, or which would get me excited. Now having the podcast, I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing, because knowing that I had committed to doing the intro this Friday, I even wrote it in my calendar. When Friday came, I was like pretty excited. I was a little nervous in the sense like, okay, is this going to go good? Is this format going to go good? Is kind of these notes that I have are going to make any sense as I'm going? So that's not nervous of actually coming on, but nervous that it wasn't going to just sound like a ramble or just kind of sound a mess. So, but once I did it, got it out of the way, it was really fun. It was cool. It was something that sounds and feels like it's going to be pretty exciting and a lot of fun on my end. Hopefully, like I said, somebody out there will enjoy me coming on and sharing some of this stuff. Well, it looks like that does it. This is installment number 4, episode number 4, haircut number 4 for week number 4 of 52 haircuts in 1 year. My name's Albert Lopez. Thanks for watching. Like, or I should say subscribe here. This is Mr. Albert Lopez YouTube channel, and go follow me on Instagram where I do daily posts of hashtag Shirt of the Day and other stuff, and I'll remind you too when I come on to do 52 haircuts, and I'll also shoot out reminders on what time I'm thinking about doing Friday's podcast for hashtag Albert's Corner. That's the name of the podcast, Albert's Corner. The series here for the haircut is 52 haircuts a year. And my handles here and on Instagram is Mr. Albert Lopez. Today is Saturday. Have yourself a great rest of the Saturday and an awesome Sunday. And whatever time you're watching this in the future, make it a good one. We'll talk to you guys later.